Welcome to my 5,000 days world tour. This world I started just over a year and a half ago now, and I have survived 5,000 days. It's a little bit over because there are a couple of things that I wanted to do before I recorded this world tour. But yeah, this is a really long world, and I love it so much, and I want to share it with people, so we're just going to go straight away. Now, as you can see by my coordinates, we are pretty much at 0, 0. This is my spawn, and of course there's a baby zombie. That's funny. So I think spawn is like this block right here, and there is immediately a pathway that goes on into the distance. This wasn't the first thing that I built, and neither is any of the stuff you're going to see for the next little while, but this is stuff that I made later on to make the world feel more connected. So there's a couple of things in this room that are somewhat useful. First of all, this sign is actually wrong. This was in 2022 that I made the world. This gold block here, the day this world became great, 14th of August 2023. Basically, this hardcore world is not my first one. I've had hardcore worlds before. In fact, I've had 3. And this date, 14th of August, is when I surpassed the day count of my previous long-term world, which was 2,041 days. So I've gone past it a long time ago. But before I surpassed the day count, I surpassed the playtime, because in this world I have not slept a single time, and one way of showing this is the amount of phantoms that I've killed, which is 16,376, which is which is a lot. So there are going to be phantoms throughout this video, so I do apologize, but that's just the way it is. Next thing down here is quite funny. This used to be a shulker farm in here, but it never worked. So there's still a shulker here, but because it never worked, I tore it down, and I now have a diamond beacon here, which is full. I would like to do something with this area at some point. It took a while to decorate everything, but I think at some point I'm going to put an iron farm in here. I think that's a good idea. Let's fly back up. Okay. Nice, it's the morning time. Okay, next up, we go onward. So as I said, the next few things that you see are not things that I built first in the world. It's stuff that I built later on to connect everything together. Now, I'm not going to walk all of it because this world is really big and I don't want to show everything from floor level. So we're going to fly up and show this. So this is something that I built last year at Halloween time. It's a big pumpkin patch. I've never really done like a themed build that's like a real life celebration. Until I had this world, there's Christmas builds and Valentine's and stuff, but this was for Halloween, so it's just a little turning from the path, and it just takes you through. There's candles and mop heads, just a big pumpkin patch. Okay, next up is this, which is going to expand eventually. This is like a farming district, and there's 3 windmills, which I think are completely empty, and a big crop field. And of course a path that goes all the way around. There's then a bit of a mangrove trail path thing, and some witch huts along the way, which have cleric villages inside, because I use a lot of glowstone, redstone, and stuff like that. So that's all of that. Now I'm going to go back down to the path, and we go onward to the trading village, which takes us through this old pirate ship, through an underwater path, which I'm not going to take because takes a while, and this is a fully natural island that I made look really nice with it's like a big trading district within the world. The houses are all empty. It doesn't really serve any purpose other than to look nice. But I tried to make buildings that look like they could serve some kind of purpose in a trading village. There's a lighthouse. One thing to mention is that somewhere here there's entrance to a pathway that goes underwater. Way off in that way there's a monument, but I'll take you there a little bit later. Now, again, this is not stuff that I made early on. The stuff I made early on is this way. So this right here is my starter house. It's the first thing I made in this world, and something that I still like coming back to. It's quite open, it's quite airy, but this, was my home for a little while. This is my first set of armor, where I got emeralds from early on, and this barrel here shows my early tools, my early shields, and my first phantom membrane, and that was the 10,000 one. I'll put another one here at 100,000 if I get there. This is my first entrance to the Nether. We'll come back here a bit later, and through this way, down there is my early mines. Before I show all of this, because my render distance doesn't quite show it off to its full, but there's a lot of stuff here, but I'm going to show what this build right here is. So it does have a few entrances, my main base, but a nice way to connect it to my earlier one is with a tunnel that goes straight to my storage room. So this place still needs a lot of work. There's a big hole here that needs to be filled with things. This is my creeper farm collection. There's a furnace array here. Back here there's going to be some auto crafting stuff when Mothman 21 comes out, and this is all my storage. So there's a lot of stuff here. But yeah, this is like the beating heart of my world. If I click this button here though, takes me up, and we can see this build. Now, I have lore for this world, and there are all sorts of stories as to why things exist. This build is called the Mirage Halls of Heiligenschein. Now, Heiligenschein is German for holy light. It's also a weather phenomenon in real life, which creates like a halo above objects. It's quite cool. But this light fixture up here is Heiligenschein, and these here are the Mirage Halls. Now, basically, the reason why it's called the Mirage Halls is that in the lore of the world, as to why things are built here, this castle doesn't exist, because the player, that's me, Stubble Venus, doesn't actually exist in the lore of the world. I'm kind of an architect that's discovering different things, but because I came here to uncover what went on here, I needed a base of my own. My previous main base, which is over here, Hanami Castle, is home to the royals of my world, but it felt like I was living too much in a place that wasn't mine. It was also too small. So I made a second castle over here, and it feels so much more like my base, my own personal base, and I can't wait to see it expand. Now, there is a massive city under here, which is kind of hard to show every single house, but basically each one serves a different purpose. For example, this one right here is a fisherman's hut, and every single house you see here has got a full interior. I've decorated it all, maybe a little bit too much, but I'm really happy with how this place is turning out. I'm really excited to see it expand. This one down here is a bakery, a cat cafe kind of thing, cakes and stuff. Yeah. So there are lots of things here that I can't really go into at the moment because this world is absolutely huge, and I can't show every single house, but there are a few points that I'll show. This one, for example, is another theme build that I built at Valentine's Day, and this little poem that I wrote. And this way is, yeah, a Christmas tree. This is my first proper custom tree that actually looks good in the world. There's a few things along from the starter house that go out. For example, this used to be a villager trading hall, but now it's a very outdated map of the world that needs to be updated for sure. Along this way is a bee sanctuary type thing. And this is actually interesting. This house right here, this little tower, is the second thing that I built in the world. So after the main, the starter house, sorry, I built this because there wasn't enough storage there. So I made a storage tower, and when I got to 100 days in the world, which took a little while because, as I said, I don't sleep, I made a fireworks system, which is something that I do often. Whenever I reach a milestone, like 1 year or every 1,000 days, I have a big fireworks celebration because, in my opinion, they are the most unused thing in Minecraft. Definitely. People often complain that there's no real use for diamonds other than armor trims now, I guess. But fireworks is such an awesome way to use them, and yeah, I wish people used them more often. This is like an early trading district, iron farm here, windmill, a couple of those. I'll show my original base. This is called Hanami Castle. Hanami is the act of celebrating a festival. Yeah, the act of celebrating the festival is known as Hanami. And the festival basically celebrates cherry trees. So I started this world in 1.19, which was a little while ago now. So for the longest time there weren't any cherry trees here. They are my favourite tree in the game. I use them everywhere. So it was really good when 1.20 dropped that I got to add these cherry trees. They're also got a little phantom interlude. There's cherry trees all throughout the city because this city is known as Hanami City. Now there's a reason as to why the royals at Hanami Castle decided to build this city, but we'll get to that in a little bit with the build called the Opera House. Just outside Hanami City, or Hanami Castle I should say, there is an extremely outdated map that I've just left here. This was built super early on, and it's kind of cool to see how much has changed since. Actually within the castle, first of all, here is a hopper clock that sends out fireworks. Down here is my old storage room. So I've ripped out all the barrels that were here, but basically these, I think it was like 48 barrels or something, was not enough to hold everything. But it's still a nice place to come back to, and I think eventually I'll make a use for this room. The only real time that I come back here though is here. This is my my bed. I've never slept in the world. I don't actually know where it is. I think it's in here. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have the Sweet Dreams Advancement, which is pretty cool. Not many people have that. This right here is my first armor set, because I like changing the armor trims around. These are some rare mobs that I made, including a charge creeper and a phantom and stuff. So that's quite cool, I guess. So yeah, moving on, I'm going to go down into the city. Way down here. as you can see, there's a lot that I've built. I love making dedicated houses for different farms. For example, this one's a dripstone farm, this one's a netherwort farm, that's chorus fruits, another floor farm, and there's also sanctuary, so this one's a nice local sanctuary. They're all stuck. Guys, what's going on? Interesting. Okay, so to show the next build, which is my most recent project, I'm gonna make use of this building, which is a train station. So if we take the minecart here, through here, it's gonna take us to a build that has a few names. It's called the Seed of the World, but it's also known as Sense, Senselessness, and the Libraries of Time. So, yeah. This one took the most part of the 4,000 to 5,000 day arc, and I'm really proud of how it came out. So we enter into this entrance home. I'll show you the view. As you can see, it's pretty cool. We'll get to that in a little bit. But basically, this is a massive city where each house is dedicated to a different villager that sells an enchantment. So I think there's 40 houses, but this one, not only this house is not only the entrance, but it's also a place for books that you can't get from villagers. So that's Soul Speed and Swift Sneak, and eventually when the Mace enchantments come out, they will go up here in these barrels. So yeah, let's go through this way. And yeah, show what's here. So there are a few houses here where there was a village. I decided to leave the houses here because they're kind of history, because I came here very, very, very early on in the world. Like day 5 or something. So I wanted to leave some kind of something to show that there was a civilization here before I came and built stuff. If I could hit this fountain. So obviously I'm not going to show every single house again, but yeah, there's a lot. This tree was the first thing that I built. This is called the Seed of the World. Now in the lore, the story of the world, this was the first thing that existed in existence, basically. It's called the Seed of the World, which means that it's very important to the world and the people that lived here. The reason why they surrounded this place with people who knew about enchantments is it's a place of learning, and people learnt a lot from the Seed of the World, and the places where they derived their powers from to enchant books comes from this here. Now this is the Seed of the World. Now I'm going to talk about why there's hands and lips and eyes and noses and mouths down there in a little bit, but first I'm going to show the library, which is this building over here. So this is a map of the city. As you can see, it's massive. It's not finished yet. I think at some point I'd like to put a model of the solar system that I've designed for this world, or this universe, I guess, and I'm going to put it up there. This here is a map for all of the books. So as you can see, efficiency, power, punch, fire aspect, infinity, everything is there. Here there are some very expensive chandeliers with deep slate emerald. Here there is going to be glass traders, because I need glass. Every Minecraft world does. And this is interesting. This is these are books that I've actually written in real life. I really like poetry, and I like writing poetry, and I wanted to incorporate it into the world somehow. So that's why this is here. This is quite a personal thing, so I'm not going to show everything, but it's still interesting. Flying way over here, actually up here, you can see there's a fireworks system, which I launched at 5,000 days, so 32 game days ago. Now I'm surprised I haven't actually mentioned it yet, but I have a video coming out very soon, which is basically a movie kind of thing, which shows my early days in the world all the way up to nowadays. It basically shows everything. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to have that video out, but it will be at some point, and I'm really excited. It's like half an hour long or something ridiculous. So I don't even know what to say. Okay, down here is, not only is it the rest of the village that existed before I came here, but it's also the entrance to this. So yeah, eventually I'm gonna have like a story retelling of why all of this exists, but I'm gonna summarize it just now. Before there was anything, nothing made sense. There was just senselessness, there was chaos, nothing, time wasn't a thing, and so in order to combat that, they needed to be sense, and sense worked with senselessness and made a massive tree, and that was the first thing that existed, and eventually creation expanded out of that, and we have the world. Ancient people who inhabited the world discovered that beneath the tree there was a massive seed, which took a lot of beacons, by the way. It's like a stack of beacons. It took a really long time. But this seed is pivotal to the world, and when they excavated it, they decided to make a shrine to it. This is like a god almost, although it's not a god. It's higher than a god. It's why things exist. It's the beating heart of the world. There's no real proof as to why sense exists. There are places in the world where there are gods and demigods, and that you can meet them, but this is not one of them. And so the only real way to know that sense exists is our own senses, which is sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. And that's what these faces are. There's eyes, there's noses, there's mouths, there's hands, and there's ears. Which I designed all myself, which came out pretty good. I'm really happy with how these things came out. But after digging this out and made everything, I decided to give the seed of the world almost a second meaning. Now if I can find the entrance, which is right here, you can see the little secret entrance which takes us into here. Now I'm not going to flip the page, but on the other page it shows the actual seed of the world that you do with /seed. I'm not going to show that because it's private. It's my world. I don't want anyone else to have this world. It's mine. But moving on, we can go to here, and that's pretty much this build. As I said, there's still stuff I want to do. I want to connect it more with the pathway that goes through the mountains. There's all sorts of other stuff. But heading on back here, there's another portal. Now I haven't actually shown my nether hub yet, but I'll show you that in a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to follow this pathway, which takes us to a little house right here, which I made as soon as 1.20 came out. This is a small house where the new armor trims from the trail ruins come from. So there's the Shaper one, Wayfinder, Host, and Razor. And that was just a fun little project that I did, experimenting with the new cherry wood and trees and stuff. But the next project is relatively far away. It's here, I think. Yeah. So the pathway goes through a dark oak forest, and it abruptly ends here, down here. So there's going to be something here, but the project at hand is here. This is the Opera House. Now, this was the first build that I made in the world that actually has lore. It's an ancient city project, and it's actually the ancient city that I got the silence armor trim from. It's the closest one to spawn, I'm pretty sure. I'm really happy with how this build came out. Similar to the Seed of the World lore, I'm going to make a video that basically tells the story of it in more detail, but I'll summarize it again. Actually, this one has it fully written out, which is quite funny. But yeah, this is the Opera House. It looks so cool. So you can't really see the ancient city anymore, but it's all under there, and it's all pretty much exactly the same. The only real way to prove that this is an ancient city is the reinforced deep slate. But I have basically flooded the entire thing and made all sorts of cool things. You can see there are floating music symbols. There's an eye over here, which is actually the eye of the god of dreaming. Now, I didn't actually mention, but this world is called, like the actual save file is called A Journey Through My Dreams. And so the god of gods, similar to Zeus in Greek mythology, is Morpheus, the god of dreaming. And he came here in a time of peril, when the people of the Opera House were being destroyed by the Warden, who was a demigod. Morpheus came here. The few survivors that were here played their music, and it was so beautiful that Morpheus cried and flooded the entire ancient city, and in doing so flushed the Warden. If I can get there. It flushed the Warden away into a hole, and he is now trapped here for us to mock. As you can see, he gets quite angry. Let's come away. But this whole project does actually have a purpose. If I can make the darkness go away, this is a bone meal farm. So this took a long time for just a bone meal farm, but I am really happy with how this came out. Basically, this place is the Opera House is a huge music center, and the houses that are here are all important in the creation of music. So this one isn't so much. This is like a statue zone where people would carve statues. But if I head to a different one, the one next to it's quite interesting. This one is the place where all the album covers were designed, which is really fun. All of the houses also have a copy of the book, which again I'm going to read out at a later point, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But you can walk through everything. If I go through here, yeah, throughout the entire city you can walk to all the different points. Now, I am wary because I'm about half an hour in, and I want to be able to share everything while still being able to have everyone's attention. So we're gonna move on to the next place, which is my Nether hub, which is way over this way. Okay, I'm gonna put my gold hammer on just in case of piglins. So, almost immediately, you can see what I've built here. So there are some portals which are out of reach of the Nether hub, but this is obviously going to expand at some point because as the world gets bigger, projects go further and further out. I'm actually going to switch to a different shader because this one makes it look like the night sky. It's really awesome. So this is my Nether hub. It looks awesome. So here is the center galaxy. There's stuff that's underneath here that I'll show in a little bit. But these floating galaxies that you can see here all have portals in them that take you to different points in the world. For example, this one is Hanami Castle. This one is close to it. This one is the next thing I'm going to show you, which is the monument. And there are a couple extra ones that just take you to different points along the pathway. Some of the portals aren't actually lifted up yet. I think this one... I think that one's spawn? I don't know, one of them spawn. This one is somewhere else. Not a clue. But let's go through here. Switch the shaders again. Okay, so from the portal, this is the monument that I drained. Now this is really old. This is like 200 or 300 days into the world I made this. It's pretty ugly in my opinion. I have an idea for what I want to do here. I basically want to make like a whirlpool type thing on top and have a cool lighting thing here. I'm going to get rid of the actual monument. There is a massive hot air balloon up here, which is the AFK point, because under here, I'm going to take the quick route. Under here is a huge farming district. There's pumpkin and melon farms. There's a basalt farm for some reason. This is the creeper farm. There's the guardian farm. I have it turned off for now. Sugarcane. There's a sheep farm, a slime farm, and all of the outputs come down into here, where they are collected and stored into chests. This is interesting. This room is a lot of first things in the world. So this one is a book of appreciation. This has most of my subscribers. So if you are new and you'd like to be in my world somehow, subscribing can get you in this book. So please subscribe. These are my old bows. I'm on my 6th, I think. So we are getting there with those. These are blocks of two perimeters that I've made. They're sort of overlapping. So that's that. This is the first beacon, and this is my first elytra. Not die into kinetic energy again. Yeah, that's how I lost the last one. But the only real interesting thing about this place that isn't on top is what's underneath. So I eventually want to finish this. There's a small stuff farm under here. I want to fill this cave with cool mobs. For example, there's one here. This one's quite cool. Full leather on a chicken. But I haven't got enough, and I haven't really collected them for long enough that I could fill a whole cave. But this way is interesting. There is a dripstone cave, a little lava thing. Here This is a pickaxe without efficiency because this is where I get amethyst. But through here, these are meant to be moving. This is a huge pathway. I didn't realise how long it was, but it basically goes all the way back to the trading village. I'm gonna go there, because it's a good entry point to the next project, which is that big nether perimeter that I was talking about. We're actually almost done, so thanks for sticking around, I guess. Man, this is long. This is really long. Okay, almost there. So, bro, there's somebody mowing their lawn. Okay, I really apologize for the stuff in the background. Someone's mowing their lawn. I don't know if you can actually hear it, but that's there. It's summer. People are doing their thing. Okay, up here. I didn't actually show this properly. This is a natural, by the way. Look, you can see there's the crystal. So this was actually really lucky that there was an amethyst geode here. Basically, up through here. This takes us just outside of the trading village, which is really cool. So the monument is way over back that way. Oh, there's phantoms. Every single night, there's like 50 phantoms. I actually really like phantoms. I like having I like having fights with them in the sky, but there's just so many. I don't wish that they weren't in the game, but I just wish that less spawned each night. But this portal right here is what's going to take us back to the Nether Hub, and we're then going to go to the lower Nether. Okay, luckily the person who was cutting their lawn has now stopped, and I was just falling there. That could have been a totem pop. Speaking of which, I think I've popped 8 in having this world, which sounds like a lot, but if you compare it to the, I think it's like 1650 hours that I've had the world because I don't sleep, it's actually not that many. It's like one every like 200-ish hours. I think the first 5 I used in the first 1,000 days anyway, because I was really bad at the game back then. Most of them I have popped to full damage and just stupid things like that. Actually, one thing I didn't mention is that if there's one thing I wish wasn't, well, it's not even in the game. If there was one thing I wish Minecraft players didn't use, it would be Litematica, because I think it kills creativity. And so things like this that I've built have been built by hand. This is not Litematica. This has been built by hand. Now I used a pixel art generated thing where it takes an image and it turns it into Minecraft blocks. But other than that, it is copied out by hand, by eye, and I mean it's not perfect, but I it's something that I talk about a lot to different people. But yeah, I do not like Litematica. I wish people didn't use it. Some people really don't like using totems, and neither do I, to be honest. But because they're in the game, I might as well make use of them. I think if I die in this world, I will do a totems run, because I've not done that before. And I think I'm good enough now to not use one. I've not used one in a really long time now. But I've had the world so long now that I really don't want to lose it. And one of the ways that I'm combating that is with totems, unfortunately. But yeah, I haven't talked about this project all that much yet. I've just been waffling about Litematica. This is the entrance to a really unfinished project. This project is so big that I just lost motivation like 3/4 through it. So it's unfinished, as you can see. But this castle, I mean, you can tell because I've not done it. But this is a gold farm. Ow. All the gold gets collected down here. And this is like 2 million netherrack mine. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just over 2 million. I mined a lot of stone, a lot of scaffolding as well. I don't like duping, but the only real way for me to have collected that much scaffolding was with a string duper. But all of the scaffolding that I used to remove lava has all been burnt. I've not used it for any reason other than removing lava that was here. I mean, there was a lot of lava. But this is actually a double perimeter, so you can kind of see this is one, and then this is the second one. Now they're 8x8 chunks, which isn't the normal perimeter size. They're usually 16x16, but in a single player world, you can actually turn your render distance down to like 2, and this farm works as it would in a 16x16 perimeter, which is really useful. One thing I'll draw your attention to is the ceiling. Now this isn't the nether ceiling, there is actually a big gap above here, but it just made sense to have it here, and it kind of cut out the work that I had to do. You can see again that this is really unfinished. I need to do all these top panels, these panels that go along here, of course the big castle that's in here. So that's a gold farm. This is with the skeleton farm. And yeah, I am proud of this, but it's going to be way cooler when there's not only a story, but it's also finished. Now, the only thing that I haven't shown is the end. But before I do that, I'm going to show what my current project is, which I'm going to continue after I do some other things. So I want to finish the monument thing. I want to finish this project that I've just shown you before I start something new. But I'm really excited for this next one. Okay, Lawnmower Man is back, and he's mowing his lawn again, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. But this is the coolest lush cave I've ever found. So, I have a bit of a theme with castles. I love building them. There's going to be a big castle here. This is basically going to be a dedication to the god of the sun. So there are going to be massive sunflower plants, and this hole right here projects a light down here, which actually moves throughout the day. There's going to be a big sundial type thing. Down here, I'm actually going to fill all of this with water, and I'm going to make an underwater city. But actually, before that, I've got to do the project that's way down here. Now it's reasonably far away, so I'm going to go back through to the nether and go to the other portal. Okay, right, down through this portal is my next project. This tunnel goes all the way to the other project or the other, like, the big lush cave that I just showed you. But this is my second ancient city project, but it's a bit different. I'm not going to flood it this time, but I've been lucky enough to find a second ancient city, which is a way through that way. So this one, rather than filling with water, I'm going to restore it. So you can see already, I've been changing the blocks out. I'm going to make, I'm going to need to change the top still. Well, I've got to make a big perimeter, like through that way, and then there's a second ancient city, and then I've got to decorate it all. But there's going to be, for a little bit of an idea, there's going to be custom mushrooms here, custom plants. What was that? I think a skeleton found it. Interesting. But yeah, there's really not much to show here, other than this is my current project. But my final thing that I have to show you, at least I'm pretty sure it's the final thing, I'm going to be really annoyed if I forget something. This world is so big now, I mean, 5,034 days, that it's very likely that I will forget something. It's pretty much guaranteed, but if I have forgotten something, it's probably not anything that's significant. I've definitely shown the main important builds, I think. Hopefully. Maybe. But, up through here, and through this portal that's over here, is going to take us to my end build, which I built between, I think it was just after 1,000 days, between 1,000 days and 2,000 days. This is my stronghold project, which I would like to do a better one at some point, but I'm still happy with this. Up here there used to be the end egg, which is something I want to show. I have a place for this. I'll show you that in a little bit. This is the last end stone that I mined, and this was the obsidian that I mined, which I can show in my statistics. Almost 100,000 end stone and 42,000 obsidian. So yeah, it was a lot. I did use TNT dupers for the end because endstone is a really annoying block to break. But I felt a bit bad after using TNT dupers for that, so I mined a whole two nether perimeters by hand. As a kind of punishment, I suppose. But this drop down here is the end portal. Now I want to show the room that it's in because I never do. Oh! Did not mean to step on that. It's fine. These are just placed here. But before I show the build, I'm going to tell you its name. So it is another castle, but it's called the Castle of Conclusions. Now I've called it the Castle of Conclusions because it's in the end dimension. For a start, I mean end and conclusion are kind of synonyms. But also because you have to jump to get to it. Now this is a pun that I came up with myself. But you basically have to jump to conclusions to get it. Wait. If you don't get it, then it's kind of straight away. Jumping to conclusions is like when you expect the worst out of something. I always get a bit scared coming through here because it's directly over the void. But we're just gonna go in. So yeah, this is the spawning platform. And this is the end island, or what used to be the end island. I killed all 20 dragons. All the end gateways are opened. These bedrock up here is where the obsidian pillars used to be. But following the glass over the void, which I really do not like, I do actually have a project. I want to basically fill the void with glass and make a cool project on top, but we'll get to that at a different point. You can probably hear them already. This is an Enderman farm. There's not really anything else that I've built here. Ah! Dude, that scared me. Basically down there is a Enderman farm. But there's not really anything else here. The one over here that has a torch in it, that's where I got the shulker from. Actually, I can show you through here. I got really lucky with my my search. I really do not like bridging over the void. I have died, not in a hardcore world, but I have died a lot doing it. So I literally just had to do this, and then I had my elytra, because the places I got it is literally just up here. I mean, there was this little bit that I had to do, but other than that, that was it. So that was really lucky. But this railway here is where I got the shulker from. But heading back here, I can show this. I do actually want to make a fireworks system here, which I haven't done. I want to put something in here. I definitely want to do a shulker farm because the one that was at spawn never worked, and I've never made a shulker box loader, but I have a feeling that's something I want to do at some point, maybe for a future creeper farm or witch farm. Oh, on top of the towers, I went for almost a middle. I was really inspired by the Taj Mahal when I was making this. That's a real life building. Mainly with the circular pieces and these little things that stick out. But the one that's up here is actually the dragon's nest, which is really cool. Really cool. But yeah, we're just gonna go back through here, which takes us back here, and I've got one more thing to show you which I forgot earlier. It's at a place that I already showed. Of course it's raining. I swear it's always raining in my hardcore world. Honestly, if there was one thing I could change about Minecraft, it would be the weather system. But yeah, already shown you this build, but in the tree there is, if I can find the entrance. Where's the entrance? Oh no. Let me find an entrance quickly. Oh! The rain has cleared and there is a rainbow. Simply beautiful. Okay. Here we go. So there is a bird's nest in the top of the tree where the dragon egg sits, directly above the seed that's in there and directly above the fireworks system that's also there. But that is my world. I want to thank you very, very much for watching. This is just over a year and a half of building, of creating, of almost dying, and I am super excited to get to 10,000 days. Yeah, this is my 4th hardcore world, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm so excited to continue this. I really hope there's not anything I've forgotten. But with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. This was almost an hour long. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you in a couple weeks with my full movie for like day 0 to day 5,000. Yeah. Bye.